Okay, this is another misconception about the continuing resolution that was just passed to keep the government open. And we've got to call balls and strikes where we can. We got to call it like we see it. And this is inaccurate. The GOP did not vote to give themselves a raise from $174,000 a year to $260,000 a year. That did not happen. Yes, rank and file members of Congress currently make $174,000. If you're just a regular old congressperson, that's what you make. If you're in leadership roles like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, you make more money. But the average rank and file member of Congress makes $174,000 a year. And yes, they did vote to give themselves a raise, but it is not what you think. It shouldn't have happened. Don't think I'm saying defending Congress by any stretch of the imagination. They should not have the ability to vote on giving themselves a raise. That should go to a national referendum, and we should decide if they get a raise. They work for us. But here's what really happened. Lawmakers are primed to get a pay bump. Some aren't happy about it. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are primed to get their first pay bump since 2009 in the new spending bill. Many of them aren't happy about it. Members in competitive districts have long feared political blowback for voting to give themselves a raise, but language blocking an automatic pay increase that has been included in past government funding bills is absent from the stopgap bill. That legislation, known as the Continuing Resolution or CR, is needed to avoid a government shutdown that would kick in on Friday, which we now know we've avoided. And some lawmakers are now threatening to vote against it. We now know that it passed. Members of Congress earn more than 90% of Americans. If any of my colleagues can't afford to live on that income, they should find another line of work, said Representative Jared Golden, Democrat of Maine. Mainers can't wave a wand and give themselves a raise, and Congress shouldn't either, especially when most voters would tell you our job performance is poor at best. Until the pay freeze is reinstated, I will not vote for this CR, he added. Some Republican members oppose any pay increase as an emblem of overzealous federal spending. It's not the first time that this has come up. For 15 years, lawmakers have included language in spending bills and CRs to explicitly ban members' pay increases tied to cost of living increases that would otherwise be automatic under a 1989 statute. Other leaders have tried to bring up a pay raise before, but tend to get shouted down by lawmakers wary of political blowback from constituents. So, pause. Since 1989, there has been language in every spending bill that says so lawmakers automatically are supposed to get a 3.8% raise. That's automatic. But in every spending or CR bill, they've put language in stopping that so that they don't get bitched at their outings in their home district. There are vocal advocates on both sides of the aisle for reinstating these automatic bumps. Many cite the high cost of maintaining two residences and say that stagnant pay rate discourages working and middle class candidates from running from Congress. Pause. You're telling me a $174,000 a year salary discourages people from running for Congress? Get the fuck out of here. Representative Steny Hoyer, Democrat of Maryland, a longtime champion of the cost of living increase, called the bump de minimis, a Latin phrase that means something is too small to be considered or taken into account, and that we don't change the law, we're following the law. Fuck you, Steny Hoyer. Fuck you. Hoyer, a former House Democrat leader, acknowledged that some in his caucus are not happy in some instances, but he expects general unity in voting for the stopgap. Rank and file lawmakers in both chambers earn $174,000 in annual salary, with those in leadership earning more. The maximum potential member pay adjustment in January 2025 under the stopgap spending bill would be 3.8%, which would result in a salary of $180,600, an increase of $6,600. The bill would also allow lawmakers to opt out of the Obamacare health insurance marketplace and use the federal employee health benefits program. The lawmaker mandate was a dramatic element of the fight over passage of the Affordable Care Act on Capitol Hill back in 2009 and 2010, and Republicans have been trying to overturn the transformative health care bill since then. However, the bill does not release congressional staff from the requirement that they seek health insurance on the exchange, although in some cases, lawmakers can give their staff a special designation that allows them to enroll in FEHB. So, Lawmakers are supposed to get an annual bump in pay, a cost of living bump in pay. Earlier I said it was 3.8%. It's an annual cost of living bump in pay. This one just so happens to be 3.8%. Anyway, they're supposed to get that automatically. And every time they pass a spending bill, they put wording in it that says we're not going to take the automatic bump in pay because they're already making $174,000 a year. But some people, like Steny Hoyer, don't think that that's enough, and they think they should get a raise. Hey, God damn it, we haven't gotten a raise since '09. We deserve a raise. Okay, you guys have voted to give yourself that. But here's the deal. There are other people that haven't gotten a pay raise since '09 either. Like folks working minimum wage. July 24th, 2009 was the last time the minimum wage was raised from $6.55 an hour to $7.25 an hour. And that's where it's been ever since. So if you, Steny Hoyer, think that you deserve a raise because you can't live on $174,000 and you haven't gotten a raise since '09, and damn it, that's not fair, and so you gave yourself a raise, then they get a raise too. Raise the minimum wage right the fuck now. If you can get a raise, if you can vote yourself a raise because it's been that long since you got one, surely you can vote for minimum wage workers to get a raise. Of course, we're not going to see that because that doesn't benefit Congress. Members of Congress should never be allowed to vote on giving themselves a raise, ever. They work for us. That should go to a national referendum and we decide if they get a raise. And I'm here to tell you that if you put a national referendum out for every American to be able to vote on, saying, should we give a cost of living increase to the members of Congress who are currently making $174,000 a year, that is going to be one of the few votes that is going to be overwhelmingly bipartisan. Put it on the books and see.